So we do have the housing. Okay. Gene, can you find that for me after?
Yes, Mayor.
Mayor, we live.
All right. All right. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank everyone this evening. At this point, I'd like to open up the City Council Special Virtual Meeting. Today is November the 18th, 2020, and the time is 5:03. Just want to remind our general audience that are joining us that this is being broadcasted in Spanish as well. So thank you for that. All right. So at this point, I will go ahead and go over to the agenda that we have. But prior to that, I'll go ahead and ask the Deputy City Clerk if she could please take roll call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Avila?
Here, sorry.
That's fine. Councilmember Ayala?
Here.
Councilmember Garcia?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez?
Present.
And Mayor Lozano?
President, thank you. Thank you very much. And first of all, I want to say good evening to everyone. Just want to report out that today will be my last official meeting as a mayor of the city of Baldwin Park. So it's my last closed session. So, and of course, I'll be reporting out on December the 2nd on my actual birthday. so we're looking forward to continuing on with the community activity that I have dedicated myself for several decades. So we'll talk more about that at the final meeting on December the 2nd. So at this point, I just want to move on to the items, which the first is the open session, the crime against children and human trafficking presentation. Am I correct on this? Also, the recess to close session with conference with labor negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, and item 2, which is also the conference with legal counsel existing litigation. Then we'll go over to the following area that we have here. We also number 4, which we have the conference with legal counsel anticipated litigation. So we have a pretty full agenda in closed session. So at this point, our chief police, Robert Lopez, will go ahead and conduct the actual crime against children and human trafficking presentation. Chief, thank you very much for joining us this evening on this special evening. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members, thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you tonight about a couple of things that are on the agenda. I hope that you had an opportunity to review them briefly. These are just simple operational agreements that allow us to do forensic investigations with children who are victims of crimes, especially sex crimes, and also if they're witness to violent crimes. This is something we've done in the past, that the Baldwin Park Police Department has done in the past. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. It doesn't incur costs. It's a good way of making sure that the investigations that we conduct are conducted in a manner that help with children and dealing with the trauma that they've encountered, whether it be sex crimes or physical abuse, neglect, and or the trauma from witnessing violent crime. So I'm just hoping that that we're able to sign these agreements with both the Children Advocacy Center and Inner Circle Children's Advocacy Center, which will again allow us to do those forensic investigations or forensic interviews of these children and those with disability, developmental disabilities as well. Are there any questions relative to the operational agreement?
Council members have any questions? Chief Lopez?
No, Chief, I do want to say thank you for bringing this to the City Council and for bringing attention to this in our community. I do think that we need to bring more awareness on this issue and encourage our community also to become active, and something along the lines of a campaign of see something, say something. So thank you for bringing this to our attention, and please, I look forward to the recommendations for us really stepping up awareness of this in our community. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chief, and very, very good information that you provided as well.
Thank you, sir. And so going on to the next slide, this is also in conjunction with the operational agreement is the Icac, or Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force Agreement. The Baltimore Park Police Department previously has been involved in the task force. And again, it does not incur any costs to the department. However, it does provide us ability to interact with a bunch of several other agencies, in order to combat the crimes against children, especially when it talks about sex crimes on the internet, the human trafficking portion of it as well, and any other thing that are related to internet crimes against children. There might be some concerns relative to the the Homeland Security. However, there are no, based on the agreement that has been in operation for several years, LAPD, who oversees this agreement, is very supportive of not including any kind of immigration law interaction. So, and in addition to that, even Baltimore Park Police Department has that in their operational manual. So again, I'm very cognizant of the concerns. However, I can assure you that none of that is in this agreement will impact any kind of immigration status questions or concerns.
That's great. Thank you. Council members have any other questions of the chief?
No, I just want to thank the chief again for, bringing and highlighting, the differentiations between what they'll be doing under this task force and, and the Department of Homeland Security. That again, we are not working with ICE in any sort of manner, but more importantly, we're trying to protect all of our children here in our community and the region. So again, thank you for our staff and the chief for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. Anyone else have any other questions of the chief? All righty.
Chief,
Yeah.
this is Councilmember Garcia. Can you tell me or give an idea to the council of what we can expect from this task force in our community, and what are some of the activities that we expect? Like, what is the participation level? What should we expect from joining this task force?
Yes, ma'am. Again, we've been involved in the task force, and it does the investigations of sexually exploited children and anything that has to do with the internet crime. So we do have some active investigations that we are currently investigating that involve residents of Baldwin Park who are preying on children. We are, and due to the fact that we entered this agreement, we're afforded a computer and software and training to impact those kind of crimes and to be subject matter experts. And so that it's to further the prosecution, whether it be state prosecution or even federal prosecution. So again, the amount of investigation is very tedious. It requires quite a bit of time, and we currently only have 2 detectives assigned to the process. Hoping that in the future we may be able to assign several more investigators, because it is a pervasive crime. It is continuing to expand, sadly, and again, the focus is on trying to take care of our children in Baldwin Park community. Often, sadly, it also includes children from other communities, other cities, other states, and other countries. So again, it's a very intricate type of investigation, very detailed, and again, the focus is to making sure our children are safe.
Okay, so the task force basically lends capacity and provides resources to our department so that we can prosecute these types of crimes. And what have other communities done in terms of bringing awareness? I guess, that's really where I want to go with this is, yes, I agree that we need the capacity to be able to prosecute I just wonder if we have enough awareness in our community. And I'd like to know, what have other communities done to bring awareness to these types of crimes and what to look out for. I'll share with you that about 10 years ago, there was a house in our city that was, if I recall correctly, and Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong.
Alpha Stewart.
Yeah, off of Stewart, where they were keeping people in the house. And so there was like a human trafficking situation going on there, it seemed. So that is something that unfortunately is happening in communities, including ours. And I guess, yeah, with 2 personnel assigned to this task force, I get that we probably need a lot more resources for this and other types of investigations. But what can we do to bring greater awareness to this issue in our community? What are other communities doing?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. What I'm looking forward to is working with our community service officer, our community relations folks, to put out information relative to what to look for, what to see, what you might encounter, those kind of things, so that there's more awareness within our community. I'm not sure what other communities are doing at this point, but I'd like to step up our process as far as being informative relative to these type of crimes, so that our community feels that they're somewhat safe, and that we're doing everything we can to investigate anything that's brought to our attention. And again, having this, being involved in this task force offers us an ability to bring in additional resources when needed to investigate these crimes, especially when you're dealing with internet crimes and computer software and those kind of things.
Right. Okay, well, good. And I'm sure that this task force will also lend itself for best sharing best practices and things like that, right?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Well, that'll be great. I would love to get a report back in, maybe 6 months or something, about what we're hearing and what we can share with the community, how we can, as you mentioned, communicate the things to look for in our community, in our neighborhoods. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this item. And I look forward to joining this task force.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Avila.
I just want clarification, and I understand what you said, Chief, and thank you for this information. I had heard about this, and I'm glad we're bringing it here to our community. One question that I know residents have is, and you've already said it, but how is this going to affect our undocumented people? Well, immigration is not involved. You already said that.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if the person committing the crime, of course, is an illegal immigrant, then it's possible that ICE may be involved because of the status.
There could be some involvement from ICE. However, again, the focus is not the immigration status. The focus is the crime itself. So, I can't rule out what the government will do. However, the Department of Homeland Security, their focus, the Department of Justice, their focus is specifically to these type of crimes. And, I know that we had a prior investigation that involved Canada. So again, the thing where the suspect was preying on somebody. So it's out. The crimes are very far and outreaching. However, I can assure you that that's not the focus of the task force, and nor is it the focus of the department to do any kind of immigration enforcement, or specifically to do that as a process. So again, it doesn't, and the verbiage and the words in the task force are very specific to that it does not require, or it does not make give Baldwin Park the responsibility to enforce any kind of immigration laws relative to our specific investigations.
Thank you. And I just needed you to say that again.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to informing our community, are you working with the school district and the school police so that our community members are more aware of what may be going on the internet with their children? I know right now school's not in session and we're not having parent meetings, but I know we can maybe even have Zoom meetings to let parents know what to look for and the dangers of their children being on the internet, so that they're more aware and report it to you and have this task investigate if necessary.
Absolutely. And, I think especially in light of the restrictions of going back to school and there's more access to the internet at this point, I think it's really important that we reach out to our community and also tie in the school district as well and the school police so that we're all involved in the process. So I'm looking forward to, after signing these agreements, to making sure that we publicize this, that it becomes a focus and not just something that that's hushed about, because this is nothing to be quiet about. The community should be bringing this to our attention so that we can focus our resources with our federal partners, especially our federal partners who have the resources that are required to do these delicate and extensive investigations so that we can, again, make our community safer.
Yes, I agree. Thank you. Thank you for that report. And I look forward to us working with the school district and the school police. Again, our children are on the internet a lot more nowadays.
Yes, ma'am.
But the parents need to be aware as well as the children, because a lot of times they go on there innocently, not knowing, and they get caught up in this. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's what we're finding.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to share any information?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, real quick.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Chief, just one thing of reference, as you're looking for additional funding, DOJ through the COPS grants are, sometimes they've funded this in the past, these type of task force. Otherwise, a suggestion or, possible recommendation, I should say, is, if staff is developing, some sort of objectives or goals in regards to, what we're trying to accomplish with this specific task force and with the other agreements. There are private foundations here in Southern California, such as the Hilton Foundation and others, that might be willing to, fund a pilot program, AKA basically fund a staff member or another detective or somebody that will cover the cost of this over the next, year or so. So not only does the federal government have grants available for these type of works, but also the private sector certainly has something like this that could possibly help us. So I'd like to request that, in addition to the report that Councilmember Garcia asked, is if you could also include what type of funding efforts or have transpired over the next 6 months to try to fulfill the gap that you might have as you move forward.
Absolutely. I appreciate the information, and I'm aware of the COP grants. So we'll take a look at that and make sure that we're doing everything we can in order to facilitate the investigative process, as well as maybe being able to add additional resources to these type of investigations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And then lastly, just the last slide on the presentation was human trafficking, but we've touched base upon that in the other just in the other discussions. Again, making sure that we have advised the community and give them understanding as to what it entails. And I think oftentimes people, our community members, people in general, don't understand how pervasive this is, and it continues to expand, which includes, the exploitation, the sex exploitation of children. So I think all these things are working hand in hand, and I appreciate, being able to talk about this and discuss this, and again, looking forward to making sure that we initiate a better understanding for our community members as to what they need to look for to talk about with their children, amongst family members, and so that again, we improve our relationship with the community as far as how these things impact families and how devastating it can be when this surfaces. So again, I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to this presentation and allowing me to bring this to your attention.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Chief. Anyone else wishing to share any information? I just want to say, Chief, I'm looking forward to this program. It's a necessity, as Councilmember Monica Garcia stated earlier. We had a human trafficking issue that occurred here about maybe 10, 12 years ago that was addressed, and it made the media, it made the local newspapers, and so on and so forth. And this is something that needs to be spread out throughout the city, whether it be social media or the newsletter that goes out, so that our residents are very well aware. And anyone that is participating in this type of crime will be forewarned that the city ballpark will do whatever it can within the confines of the law to prosecute those individuals. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All righty. Okay, so at this point, we're going to, any other questions of the chief? So I guess the rest, we're going to go into closed session. So at this point, council members, all right, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you, Chief.